Hello, this is Dr. Audrey Stillerman. I'm an integrative family physician and co-founder of the Center for Collaborative Study of Trauma, Health Equity, and Neurobiology, the Then Center. Today, we're going to discuss a foundation for working with trauma. Today, we're going to focus on these questions. Why is self-care important when we're working with trauma? How do we restore the self? And what is the key role of community? Why does making connections build regulation and resilience? Before we begin, I want to share with you that we have some supporting materials on our website. First, a glossary of key terms and concepts, a bibliography including audio, video, and print links, and some essential foundation materials for this work, including a content notice and reminder that learning new concepts and thinking about trauma itself can be dysregulating, as well as some tips for caring for ourselves and sharing care with our community. Trauma is personal for everyone, and research shows us that traumatic experience can be at the root of many of the illnesses and disparities that we are challenged by. So first, why is self-care so important when we are working with trauma? Hearing stories or witnessing traumatic experiences of others itself can be very distressing. At times, we literally take home other people's pain. Of note, up to 80% of us who are caring for others, so those of us in human service professions, have personal histories of trauma that often date all the way back to childhood. At Then, we choose the term restoring the self to build the concept of restoration and regulation when we're talking about self-care or caring for the self. Please remember that restoring the self is not selfish. It's actually a prerequisite for helping others, and must be done first in an ongoing way. So how do we restore the self? First, it's important to learn to maintain boundaries and a sense of physical and emotional safety. We have to start with compassion for ourselves and then for others. Building our own rhythms is critical, sleep being one of the most important. So nurture your sleep and make time for it. We can use mindfulness, mindful breathing, yoga, and other regulatory practices to help us build our own rhythms. Journaling is also an excellent way to help restore ourselves. We can talk or write about feelings to help process what we're seeing and hearing, as well as to process our memories. Other activities that are extremely helpful in restoring the self are spending time in nature, walking, swimming, dancing, singing, anything that is an activity of creative self-expression. Think about making time for reflection, for fun, and for sharing with others to restore the self. Let's take a moment to check in. How regulated are you feeling at this moment? Let's now do an activity together to improve focus and attention. Please sit in a comfortable position and rest your hands comfortably, either on your thighs or on your belly. With a soft gaze, look down at the floor, at a point in your room, or you may close your eyes gently. Now, together, let's take 2 slow breaths in through the nose and filling our belly. As you breathe out, in your mind's eye, say, I am focused. My mind is clear. And you may repeat in through your nose and out through your nose, while saying in your mind's eye, I am focused and my mind is clear. Take a moment to relax and gently return to your starting place, or continue as many times as you like and come back when you're ready. Let's shift a little bit to talking about care of and by our community. Science tells us that health is always built through connections, either inside the body or with others. We can work together to create joy through building a network of right relationships with others and with nature. We can both give and receive. We can work on sharing where we each are in any given moment, both attending to it for ourselves and sharing with others. It's important for us to think about how we strengthen connections and to make that a priority, connecting with others. Some of the ways that we can do this are to listen without judgment and to ask before offering advice. We also can engage in care of and receive care from our community through addressing the roots of trauma and injustice. We can become aware of blind spots and probe the roots of stigma. We must acknowledge that each person is an expert of their own experience, their own body, and their own needs. Through using reflection and acting, we can redefine accountability to ourselves, to others, and to the world as a whole. So let's put it all together. We can commit to a plan of restoration and regulation over time, building in a sequential fashion. We can invest in building connections with others and allow ourselves to both give and receive support in our communities. Let's use this time of change to support collective transformation. Thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you again.